Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna clear up some things here, okay? Some apple things. A lot of people around these parts think they know apples, but let me tell you, nobody knows apples like your boy knows apples, okay? So I've decided to go ahead and I made a tier list of all the different apple varieties that I know of. And we're gonna go down the list and I'm gonna rank them from S to unknown, which is apples I haven't had, and there's a couple on this list because they're just not sold in my area. So we will go down the list. I've had all of the apples that have been sold in my area, but all the ones that are in the question marks I've never seen and I've never tasted. So okay, well, I guess we'll start with ambrosia. This is the classic lunchbox apple. This apple here is the one that your friend would bring to school and you're like, holy fuck, he's got a big apple. That's a big ass apple. That's what ambrosia are. They're massive. They're huge. They're very tasty apples. The skin, pretty thin. It's got a good crunch to it. It's very crisp, but it doesn't really have like a flavor that just kind of like punches you in the face like some other apples do. It's, you know, it's your basic apple. It doesn't brown very quickly, which is nice. Makes it good for lunches. You can have it cut up. Your mommy might cut it up for you and put it in a little baggie for you to bring to lunch with you at school or something, you know. So I'm going to rate this apple a solid A tier just because it's just a very good all-around apple. Okay, the Arkansas Black is one of those varieties that I've never had before. I don't know any information about it, but I hope to learn some new stuff about it as time progresses, as my apple knowledge grows. It does look cool though. It looks like it's probably, I would say, like, due to like the shine of the skin, it probably doesn't look like it's like super crisp, but I don't know much about it. Maybe it's a baking apple. Okay, so the Braeburn I've had before. It's super tough. The skin on this apple is just ridiculously tough. It's like a cross between, what is it? It's a cross between the ambrosia and some other apple. It's like some weird variety. It's okay, I guess. It's not a bad apple in general. It's pretty good. It's one of those apples you're just fine to eat. It's a little more sweet than it is tart, so I'll give it a B for Braeburn. B for Braeburn. For the Cameo apple, okay. This one is kind of in the same category. It's got some good crunchiness to it. It's very sweet. My experiences with it, though, is that it bruises often, but that may just be from my experiences with it. Maybe it's how I handle my apples. People tell me all the time I'm not the best at handling my apples. I'm a little rough with them, you might say, but that's okay. You know what? All criticism aside, this is an okay apple. I'll probably put it in B tier as well. Now, crab apples. People seem to be pretty torn on these apples. People who grow them love them because the trees that grow them, you just can't kill them. They're native to North America. They are absolutely great, but the people who don't grow them are like, what the heck is this little crappy apple? It's sour, it's tart, I don't like it, it's tiny, it's not filling, it's not my favorite. But you know what, for me, I'm a man of horticulture, I'm a man of gardening, I'm gonna put this little guy up in A tier. Just cause I like them. There's a lot of varieties of them. They grow everywhere here, and oftentimes during the middle of the summer or the late summer, early autumn, I'll go walking down the street and there'll be crab apples. You can stop by on the road, pick them, eat them. Delicious. Very good. But most of the time people use crab apples for like pickling or making ciders out of. Even stuff like chutney is what you use that for. So it's not bad. It's got a lot of uses. It's not people's favorite just for raw eating, but I quite enjoy it just because of the nostalgia factor I have with that apple in particular. Okay, the Fuji apple. This is another very common variety of apple. It's got some good flavor. It's really, really sweet. It's really not tart at all. But I think that the flavor of it is enhanced a lot while baking and into like pies. This is like a pie apple. This is an apple you want to put in a pie. Very good if you're baking it. It's really not my favorite just because it feels really common and nothing really special about it. So I'll probably put it in C tier just because in order to really get the most out of this apple variety, you've got to use it in some sort of baking or recipe. It's good in salads too. Fresh in salads, chop it up, put it in a spinach salad. Pretty good. Pretty dang good. What else? I think this looks like a gala apple to me. Yeah, there's a G. Okay, that's a gala apple. This is a very basic apple. This is one of the most common varieties, especially in North America. This one it's definitely in the top 5 tier of most favorite apples in North America. So this one I'll probably put in B tier. It's not bad. It's very good. However, it kind of falls in the same category as Fuji, where I just feel like it doesn't really offer anything special. It's just your apple, you know? It's a basic apple flavor. So it's good. Golden Delicious. I'm gonna put this one in a solid C tier as well, just due to the fact that it's still a little bit too sweet for my taste. I like an apple with a little bit of a zing or a tanginess to it, so we'll put it in C tier. It's quite all right. It's quite big. No problems eating it. It's not tangy. Yeah, it's fine. It's got a cool color, I guess. It's a Golden Delicious. It's big, beautiful. And Granny Smith. Oh boy. Oh me, oh my. The old granny of the apple groups. This one has me torn. Part of me wants to say A because it's just such a good sour apple. It's good for everything. You can bake with it. You can eat it raw. You can do whatever the heck. But for me, personally, I have a kind of a little bit of a spiteful relationship with this apple in particular. This apple makes me choke almost, just due to how tart it is. It is so tart, it is so crisp that it just like gets stuck in my throat and I just can't swallow it for some reason after I eat too much of it. So for a slice, sure. If I'm having like a couple slices, it'd be an A tier, but if we're talking about the whole apple, I'm gonna have to put it in D tier, just because it just makes me feel like I'm gonna die when I eat it. So it'll go there. Alright, now this guy right here, he's gonna be down in D tier too, because he kind of falls into the same category as the Granny Smith. It's so tart where it's just like your throat just clenches up on it. But in fact, I think it's a little bit if I could put it, if there was an F category, I would put it down near there. It is very, very, very tart. It's not nearly as big or well known as the Granny Smith, and it also only has a very short harvesting period, and it tends to brown quickly. So it's kind of like a D minus, if I can rank it as a D minus. So we'll put it there, I guess. Should have grabbed some water before I did this, but I was not thinking. The Honey Crisp. This is another classic apple. This is another apple that you would just find everywhere in every grocery store ever. This one is probably gonna stick around B tier as well. Actually, you know what? We'll move it up to A. I quite like the Honey Crisp. It is it's firmer than the Gala. It's very similar in taste to the Gala, except I like an apple that you can really crunch into. It's one of my favorites for sure to use for baking. so I quite like it. This is also my favorite apple to put into the food processor to make applesauce with, so I'll put it in A tier. That's where it belongs for me. The Jazz apple is, you know, I'll put it in C tier. It's fine. It's okay. There's nothing really special going on with it. It's just another like Gala-ish apple. The Gala apple was so successful that like everybody else is like in like the top 5 of America's top pick are all very similar in terms of taste, and so another sort of basic apple. I'd rank it slightly less than the Gala because these ones tend to bruise, in my opinion. So this apple right here, I have to look at the file name for this one. Hold on. This is the Jonah Gold. Okay, so the Jonah Gold, it is sweet, it is tart, and it is crisp. It is quite alright. It goes in B tier. That's where it belongs. It's fine. It's a fine apple. It's a good apple. You can have that one any time of the day, anywhere you like. Macintosh, this one is controversial. This one bruises so easily. So easily. But when you get a good Macintosh, one that's not bruised like crazy, maybe a little bruise, you know, you can eat it, it's fine, you don't have to eat around it or whatever. My God, is it one of the best apples out there. But if not for the fact that it was such a delicate apple, this would be one of my favorites. It's also one of the oldest varieties on this list too. There's a couple of other ones that are around the same age in terms of how long it's been gathered for, harvested. How long it's been harvested for. Granny Smith is also on that list of very old varieties of apples. Pacific Rose is, I believe, is a pretty new apple. It kind of has like the same sort of bruising potential as the Macintosh, but it's not my favorite. It grows in my area pretty often. This is one of the apples that are in my area. It's fine. It's C tier. I definitely wouldn't, if I saw some of the other apples on this list and this one was there as an option in a grocery store, I probably wouldn't pick it over some other options, but you know, it's fine. It's pretty cheap in my area though, due to it being local, so that's pretty good. The Pink Lady, now this one goes straight into S tier. I don't care what anyone says. This is the best apple in the universe. Don't at me about it. It's fine. This is definitely the best apple out there. It is got a very firm skin. When you bite into it, it's got such a satisfying crunch. It's got good pull away. There's no tearing. It stays fresh forever. You can cut it. You can put it on a counter in the middle of the sun. It'll stay fresh for like an hour and a half. I kid you not. This is a very new variety of apple. It is a cross between some older species. I believe it is a cross between Ambrosia and I want to say Granny Smith, but I'm not too certain on that. I'd have to check my math. But I know that it is pretty new. It is taking the market by storm. Everyone loves these apples. They're expensive as hell though. But when I do see them and they're on sale, because they are pretty rare, but they are getting more popular, it is definitely my #1 pick for apples. It's my absolute favorite. It's got a light pink color, hence the name Pink Lady. It is absolutely wonderful. You could drop this apple on the floor and it would not bruise either. It does not bruise at all. It is a very good apple, just all in general. And if you ever see them in the grocery store, I recommend trying it out. It's very good. Okay, the Pippin is another one of those apples I've never had before. I've never even heard of this apple before, but it was recommended on Google as one of the options. So I mean, I'll just put it in there since it's popular, but I've never heard of it. So yeah, it looks fine, I guess. It's a small apple. What can I say? This is another controversial one, the Red Delicious. Okay, this one's gonna go into B tier simply due to the fact that it's the community is pretty torn on it. A lot of people don't like the sweet taste of it, but if I had to pick a really sweet apple, probably the Red Delicious. This is an apple that I used to eat when I was a little kid. My mom would buy it because it was cheap and we were only lower middle class family, so this apple in particular has really big bumps on the bottom, and my mom used to tell me that if you ate those bumps, you could get a wish. You could get a wish granted. So you would say a wish while you're eating those little bumps on the bottom of the apple, and then your wish would come true. And so I always used to do that. That was always such a fun memory of mine. But the reason why I put this one in B tier and not lower, especially though, is because this is a great apple to put in salads. I love to put this apple in salads. Cut it up, throw it in your spinach salad, get some goat cheese in there, or some feta, or whatever you like. Get some little almond slivers in there. So good. Such a good apple for salads. It just really adds a whole lot to your salad game. I definitely would recommend trying that out in a salad. Maybe not to eat fresh. Not everyone likes to eat them fresh. They tend to brown quickly once you bite into it, but it's fine. It's a very fine apple, so it belongs in B tier. As for the Rome apple, this one, oh, I didn't even think about this one. This is another of the apples that is similar to the Fuji in the way that the flavor really develops when you cook it. This is definitely, I'll put it in D tier. It's fine. You know, it's not as good as the Fuji in my opinion. It's pretty small, so you kind of have to buy a lot more than to get your money's worth than Fuji, so that's probably why. It's more of like a C minus, a D plus kind of scenario. So yeah, I don't know. That's my apple tier list right there, and I'll just do a quick once over. You know what? I'm gonna move crab apples up into S tier just because I like them so much. People who don't like crab apples can stay away from me because I like them. I like them a whole heckin' lot. They're fun to eat. You just pop them in. Pop, pop, pop. Very delicious. Yum, yum. Good times. Yeah, I guess that's really it. I've only ever had the cameo a few times, so I might have to do a little further taste testing in order to get my final opinion on it, but this is where the list stands. Eternal in time until more apple species are discovered, tamed, and bred for human consumption. See you later.